Let me tell you something that nobody in that hearing room wanted to say out loud. The FBI, Director of the United States of America, the man running the most powerful domestic law enforcement agency on the planet, had to have his resume read to him by a congressman in public, on camera, because he couldn't defend himself. That's what actually happened on March 12th, 2026. And if you missed it, you need to watch this. Kash Patel sat in front of Congress as FBI director, a man who never spent a single day working inside the FBI before being handed the keys to it, never wore the badge, never ran a case, never built a file, never investigated anything under that banner. The FBI has a hiring process so brutal it breaks most applicants before they reach the door. Background checks, psychological evaluations, polygraphs, years of training. Kash Patel skipped every single step of that process and got the top job. And Jasmine Crockett walked into that room and said exactly what that means. She didn't ask permission. She didn't soften it. She looked him dead in the face and said, "You are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI." Not an opinion, a fact. He is literally the only director who never served inside the bureau before leading it. But here's where it gets important, because this wasn't just about a resume. Crockett laid out a pattern: Republican lawmakers receiving death threats from right-wing extremists, one colleague's wife sleeping with a firearm because anonymous callers were threatening her life, another colleague leaving Congress entirely because the threats became unbearable, an HBCU targeted by domestic terrorism, and from the FBI silence, nothing, no statement, no urgency, no accountability. Meanwhile, Kash Patel posted twice about catching a suspect whose own parents turned him in after he confessed online. He wanted a victory lap for that. The FBI didn't catch that man. His family did, and Patel tried to take the credit anyway. Crockett asked the question that every American should be asking: how are we supposed to have confidence in an FBI that can't acknowledge where the actual threats are coming from? The data is not ambiguous. Study after study, report after report, right-wing extremism is the leading domestic terrorism threat in this country, and Patel sat there and danced around it like the numbers don't exist. Then Patel responded, and this is the part you need to understand. He said, and I'm not paraphrasing, "I don't give a damn what they say about me as long as I'm succeeding in the mission." No evidence, no sources, no documents, no data he could point to, just confidence, borrowed confidence, from the man who appointed him. He said the FBI is capturing more child predators than ever, taking more drugs off the street, delivering the lowest murder rate in recorded history. Great claims, extraordinary claims, not a single citation, not one document submitted to the committee. Just trust me, we're winning. And then, this is the moment Jim Jordan jumped in and read Kash Patel's resume out loud, the committee chairman reading the resume, because the director sitting right there couldn't make the case for himself. Someone else had to do it for him. That tells you everything about what happened in that room. Here's the bigger picture that nobody is connecting. This is the same playbook as every other Trump appointment. Take an institution that Americans depend on. Install someone whose primary qualification is loyalty. Strip away the career professionals. Redirect the resources toward political priorities, and then dare Congress to do something about it. Patel is redirecting FBI agents to assist with ICE operations on the streets. He acknowledged it will take 14 years to fully restaff the FBI after the cuts. 14 years. And he's spending those depleted resources playing immigration enforcement while death threats against lawmakers go unanswered and HBCUs get targeted with no response. This isn't incompetence. Incompetence is random. This is a direction. And Jasmine Crockett named it directly, without the diplomatic softening that let it slide for months. She said she doesn't feel safe as a Black woman in this country under this FBI. She said she doesn't know if this bureau would even catch someone who tried to kill her colleagues. She said the quiet part loud in a room full of people who were content to leave it quiet. Patel's response proved her point. He recited accomplishments he couldn't verify, dismissed her concerns without addressing a single specific, and called it succeeding in the mission. Brother, what mission? Because from where the rest of America is sitting, the mission looks like this: protect the people with power, redirect the bureau toward political enemies, ignore the actual documented threats, and when someone calls you out on it, don't give a damn. The FBI was built on one promise: that no one is above the law and no one is beneath its protection. Kash Patel sat in that chair and couldn't make that case. Jasmine Crockett made it for him by showing exactly what it looks like when it's broken. Subscribe, because this is only getting louder.